I'm here now with director and voice actor Daman Mills. Daman, thank you so much for doing this.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
So, real quick,
Mhm.
why don't you give everyone a little bit of a backstory? Because I mean, we may have a bunch of anime fans, but I mean, I'm streaming like wrestling and hockey stuff. So,
Oh, wow.
so for that type of audience, why don't you tell everyone about yourself and
Sure.
how you got into what you're doing today?
Sure. Well, I'm Daman Mills. You guys may know me for a few different voices. I've been one of the voices for Frieza since 2017. I voiced Vice the Immaculate in Final Fantasy VII Remake, Cherry Blossom in Skate the Infinity, Mustard and Moonfish in My Hero Academia. I'm in Ruby, I'm in Evangelion, I'm in Pokemon, I'm in Shin Megami Tensei 5, I voice Aogami, so much.
And you're a director too.
I am a director. I'm an ADR director. I've worked on a couple different shows now of my own that I've fully directed and cast. Supposed Kid from the Last Dungeon, Booney's Moved to a Starter Town is the full name. And Full Dive RPG is another one that's a shortened version of it. I've also worked on different titles for like assistant directing and stuff.
So for voice acting, like what got you into, like what inspired you to want to get into voice acting?
So I have always been a huge anime video game fan, and so I grew up watching Pokemon, Dragon Ball Z, and all that, and I've always played games. So I was like, when I was 15, 16 years old, I started realizing, oh well, this is a job people do. And so I started trying to figure out, well, how does that work? And I tried dabbling with voices on my phone. I started recording myself or trying to dub over existing clips just to try to get a feel for it. I didn't even know really what I was doing. I was like, well, this is fine, because I was trying not to like let my mom know, because I was like, this is weird. I don't want to be weird.
It's okay to be weird.
It's fine. Yeah, you can be weird. I'm weird, whatever. So I started doing that. I had her, once my mother found out what I was trying to do, she helped me get like a USB microphone. I started trying to record myself. I started meeting community people online of who was trying to do the same thing. And so I started getting more interested in that. I started finding out more information on how to do that. I was like auditioning for little indie projects. Made my own demo reel. I was living in, I've kind of lived everywhere. I grew up in Seattle, Washington. I lived there until I was 13 years old. My family moved me to Hawaii. I lived in Hawaii my teenage years. And so I was living in Hawaii. I was way far away from everything else. I moved to the Northeast, actually. I used to live up in this area. And I started working in New York a little bit. I worked on a couple of anime up there, including Pokemon. So it's just a long journey. I started on that stuff in about 2015. But until then, I was just like doing like small new projects and working.
What's it like working on, I'm going to call legendary franchises like Dragon Ball Z and a Pokemon, and then working on more of a newer franchise like a My Hero Academia?
Yeah, well, I think the ones that I grew up with or had a close affinity with is more daunting, I think, to do rather than newer stuff, because there's less I feel like there's more pressure with that to do well. So I don't know, maybe there's just that difference in that. But I personally also want to do a good job. Either way, I want to do a good job, but I really try hard on the things I care about to just make it good. Because as a fan, I would want it to be good. But so I'd done stuff in New York. I was filming for a little while. In 2016, I moved to Texas. And I had slowly been just making connections and like finding out people in the industry and making friends and getting my own portfolio out there. So I moved to Dallas, and I started rather quickly working with Funimation. I just happened to get an audition because I was referred for One Piece Film Gold, and I got cast. And that was my first thing I did there, and then it just kind of snowballed from there. And I now live in Los Angeles. I moved last year during COVID.
I mean, if any time you're going to do it, you might as well do it when things are a little slow.
Yes, well, it actually picked up more so once I moved, which is great.
So I meant slow in regards to what was going on.
Right at the time, it was absolutely slow for a while. It was several months of just nothing, because we were just like, well, we're just at home, we're trying to figure out how to do this and make it work. But
one thing you do the directing. What was it like trying to make the transition from being a voiceover actor to a director?
intimidating, very intimidating, because I had not really done that sort of thing before. I was actually trained at Funimation. I was shadowing other directors, like Alexis Tipton, Caitlin Glass, other people. Tia Ballard actually sat down and trained me to be her assistant director on a show, and so she supervised me on that. I was like slowly learning how to do that. I was one of the leads in that show anyway, so I knew it well. It was Kono Oto Tomare, Sounds of Life. I played Chika Kudo in that, and so I started training on that, and I ended up directing a lot of the second season actually. That was my first thing I did. So I went from that and just started doing a little bit more. COVID happened, and then I didn't do anything like that until I think I started late last year. I started doing some more directing stuff. I work with Sound Cadence Studios a lot, and they're outsourced by Funimation frequently, so I started doing stuff with them. Then they had me take over a couple shows on my own. And it's just been the more I do, the more practice I get. And it really helps being an actor, I think, when you're directing, because you have your own instincts and your own skill and history with that. And so when you go into the other side of it, you have a perspective. And then you kind of maybe know how you want it to sound and be shaped with the dub.
And it probably would also help, like, if you're working with, like, a newer actor,
Correct.
stepping into, you know, that realm that they probably never worked in.
Correct. And I've hired a couple newer actors that have not done anime before, and I was able to guide them into that with just, you know, you have to be more patient with people that have not done it before, but then they take to it rather quickly if they have good skills and good instincts. So, but it definitely helps when you have that actor training or experience to kind of get you in there rather than maybe somebody who doesn't have as much.
Which one do you like doing more, the voice acting or the directing?
It's so hard to pick, man. I love it all. It's super good. I think I have a slight preference for the acting, but I do love directing a lot, so I keep doing it.
If there was one thing that you could do in the anime industry, what would it be? That if it wasn't voice acting or directing?
I honestly don't know. I've done time coding as well, so for like script prep and everything. And engineering also, I also do that. So I can direct and engineer at the same time. Audio engineer, so like for all the programs and placing lines and everything in the video, I have a lot of experience with that now. Also, so
you're like
I kind of done a lot of it at this point. So I'm like, I don't really know if there's something much left except for maybe producing, but I'm not interested, honestly. Yeah, I don't know.
So you've essentially become like a jack of all trades for the anime industry.
COVID's helped with a lot of that actually, because I've just developed more skills. I developed because we all had to record from home and still do. We got really good with tech stuff because I have a whole home booth in my house. Like I have a Studio Bricks booth I purchased, and we decked it out and I just have a bunch of expensive equipment in it that I needed to do the job from home. So I learned how to operate it, and so now I just got that skill and was able to incorporate that with running for the shows and the Pro Tools.
What's one show you'd like to direct?
Oh gosh, I was talking about this a little earlier. Is I really want to work on more BL shows or just boy love stuff in general, either acting or directing. I would really love to work in either aspect on Given. Given is a really good representation of that. I'd like to work on that.
Hey, hopefully you get that.
I would love that. Yes.
So with that, real quick, where can the people find you on the social medias?
Oh my gosh, well you can find me on at Daman Mills on Twitter and Instagram and TikTok.
Super easy, just knock it all out.
Yes,
right there.
DAMANMILLS is how you can find me on all the things and stuff.
Alrighty. Thank you so much. And everyone, I'll be back live on Twitch later tonight. We're going to be doing some gaming in the arcade. Got to do that old school PS1, PS2 stuff, man.
I love that stuff, man.
And then we're also going to be doing some Joking Hazard, the
card
game.
That's always fun, yeah.
Oh, it's going to get nasty.
Oh, good. My favorite.
So with that, again, Damon, thank you so much for doing this,
you.
and I hope you enjoy the rest of the DerpyCon
this
weekend.
It's fabulous. Thank you so much.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Look around the table.
Awesome.